There's flip that. We started. Then. But then. She got her shoulder back. Got some of the thigh. She could move her state, the head was hanging out on the edge of the bed, she could bring it. You make it all well now. Good time going forward. Yeah. Oh, she can't. She likes somebody to be there. You know, I was thinking. The girls can't come in to visit. They're actually there. They travel there.
They want me to.
Yeah, my.
Spread out. We're not by me. Ready to pick
I'm glad you're here. Order and took the kids. She told me to feel custody. Apparently, it's like. No. If they were married. He was away from you. He had a higher brother, female, and his best friend.
Yeah. The breeding.
What?
He's singing.
One of my. Big chunk of her feet. Couldn't save, so. They put that out.
Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning.
Lost and Found. We do have a few items that have gathered into Lost and Found. Please be sure to stop by the coffee machine. Take a look before you leave today. We will be making a donation of anything that is left over on Friday to Goodwill. And then team meetings for the rest of the month. Today we have the incredible Lori Gee. You can see she is here with her visual aids to talk about open houses and how to use those as a conversion strategy. Then next week we have our awards meetings. So we will be honoring agents for their production in the month of August, hearing from those agents what's working in the market right now. And then we will be doing the second half of our digital trust training, since we didn't get to that last week. So keep that in mind for next week. And then the last week, we will be focusing on work-life synergy. Tech bar. So we do have one more tech bar this month. That will be the 25th from 10:30 to 11:30. And then we have the beautiful, the amazing, the wonderful Kimber Walton will be here today teaching the consumer experience and talking about your personalized websites and how to use those, leverage them in your business. Ignite is here and in full force this week. So you may have noticed they're in the boardroom today while we are here in team meeting. Be sure to grab a schedule and check out any of the classes that match what you are focusing on in your business. Remember that you can audit any of the Ignite classes, so you do not have to attend Ignite in its entirety to attend any of those individual classes. Our proactive listing management mastery class is the 17th. This will be after team meeting. We have a panel of top listing agents that are going to share their strategies in setting expectations with their sellers, keeping communication and keeping proactive communication, so that their sellers don't get anxious as we see days on market extending out a little bit. They'll also be talking about what they're doing to actually market their properties and get them sold, and how to have that dreaded price reduction conversation. So that will be 12:30 to 2 on the 17th. And then the KW Luxury Speaker Series is the 18th. This is at the Pendry in Park City. Last I heard, we have about 50 agents from outside of Utah registered for this event, and fewer agents that are within Utah registered for this event. This is really, really, really great news for us, because that means for those agents that do attend, this is an incredible referral opportunity, networking opportunity to connect with agents that are out of state and would have luxury referrals for you to work with. This is open not just to our luxury qualified agents, but anyone may attend. It's $150, does include lunch, and will be absolutely world-class training and education. Kuahara is right around the corner. We are less than 3 weeks to our next client appreciation event. So the good news is, if you have not started inviting people, if you start today, there is still time. The bad news is that time is limited, so get on it. This needs to be off of your to-do list and on your doing list. If you've got questions about details on this event, see Isaiah, see Lisa Cacavella, our events chair. Rachel almost had a heart attack because a lot of you convinced her that.
Just to check, there are tickets, yeah?
There are still tickets available, yes. You know, text your clients, call your clients. If you don't have a budget for this client appreciation event, remember that you can just pass on the savings that we have for these tickets to your clients. So the way that conversation looks is, hey, Isaiah, I was just thinking about you. My company is actually doing a really fun event at Kuahara, and we're able to secure tickets. They're normally $24, and right now they're only $12 for the night of our event. It will exclusively be our clients and friends, and I thought you might want to come out to take a look, bring your family. If somebody calls me and offers me half-price tickets to a movie, a concert, a restaurant, Kuahara, I am stoked. That is still a gift. They do not have to be paying for it on my behalf. So if this is something that you're interested in, but don't have a budget yet, just know that that's an opportunity. And Blake, will you wave your hands in the air, waving like you just don't care? Blake Walton is a great resource if you're going to do your client event in that way. This is something that he's done very successfully. So Contracts Decoded will continue through the month of September, every Friday, 11 to 12. This is a time for us to go through the new contracts, for you to go through the new contracts with your broker, make sure that you understand how to use these, not just in theory, but with some actual scenario situations or even hypothetical situations, because what we have found is that as agents have been learning about the new contracts, there's sort of these levels of learning. And there's the level where agents say, okay, I think I understand the new contracts and how to use them. And then inevitably there is some scenario that will pop up that keeps them up at night, and they think, yes, but in this case, how do I use the new contracts? So fear not. Have the contracts decoded, run that scenario past your broker, and get that all worked out. This is also a great time. This is an Ask Me Anything for your broker. So if you have other compliance questions, things that you're seeing in the market that you'd like some support in sort of diagnosing and digesting, or you just want to come and see if you can stump your broker, that will be every Friday from 11 to 12. Morning Momentum. It has been so much fun to kick off the day with so many of you. So if you're not familiar with what this is, every morning at 8:45, we have a Zoom. This is not a be all put together in front of your computer, ready to take notes Zoom. This is a turn your camera off, put yourself on mute, and listen to the call while you are dropping kids off at school, driving to your first appointment, finishing your breakfast, still sweaty and at the gym, whatever your morning looks like, we want you there. It's a great opportunity for us to just be there together and have some synergy by being in the same place at the same time. We're doing about 10 minutes of a power moment, so leadership training, growth, mindset. We'll do some skill work, but I'm keeping in mind that anything we're talking about is maybe happening before you've had your coffee, so there will not be anything that's too much of a brain buster. And then for those of you who want to stick around after we have our power moment, from 9 to 9:15, we have agent-led role play. And so we are rotating through different dialogues, using this as 15 minutes to work on your skill building and prepare for the conversations that you're having in the market. I checked in a little bit on how it was going this morning. Kenna has been leading this week, so Kenna, thank you for doing that. And the dialogues that you will be using for that role play are going out in email the night before, so you can check your email and have that right there. Or Isaiah's been great about posting those in the chat as well. So if you get on the call and think, oh, I don't know where I'm gonna find that in my email, fear not, you can still participate.
8 people in a breakout room. It's getting popular.
I like it. And show up and blow up. So we are still running this this incentive right now. So the way that this works is come to the market center and work for 5 hours a day, for 5 days a week, for 3 weeks in a row. You work at the market center. Now you have to check in with Isaiah. He is the gatekeeper of this, but if you are 5 hours a day, 5 days a week, 3 weeks in a row, then you will have a dedicated desk in our beautiful open desk area with mountain views. You'll have a locking drawer. I'll give you some cute push pins. You can put things on the walls. It could be your own little space. Once a quarter, we are drawing from everybody who has qualified, and that person gets their own private office for 90 days. So when you're here at the market center, stop by Kenna's office and wave at her, because she is living a life of luxury right now in her private office. And we would love to have more of you participating in that. So see Isaiah if you've got questions, and make sure to check in with him so that you get credit for the time that you are here. And then October 10th, we have the one, the only Marty Miller, a creator of the 66-day challenge, presenting how to make $1 million using digital marketing and social media. Kimber, anything you can share with us about this training?
He is coming to the Utah region because I know him really well. It's not something that is even his sports thing as far as coming to teach for free in the state of Utah, because he lives in Katy, Texas. And I said, what is a class that you are so proud of? You feel like you teach it at a high level that our agents can see more production because of, and this is what he picked. And so it's going to be a really good class, and also it's free, but I keep telling people it's free and it will sell out because this training room fits 75 people and it's marketed to the entire region, so save your spot.
Love it.
Is it already up on KW Utah?
It is.
That is kwutah.com. Is that the,
Yeah.
okay, kwutah.com. Pull your phones out, register right now. You got a question in the back.
You guys won't Zoom it?
Zoom, Kimber, or just live?
We will record it, but we don't want to create a hybrid environment for training. But we will record it. If
Okay,
you can't make
so
it.
recording will be available. We're just not going to Zoom it live because that hybrid training can be a little bit clunky to work with.
So when you record it, maybe you just send it out in like the newsletter? We'll just post it like on the region's YouTube channel.
So it'll be on the Regions YouTube channel, and then we will post a link
Yeah.
in the newsletter to make sure you got that. Great questions. Anything else? All right. KW Cares. Anyone not know what KW Cares is? I know I'm asking a question that almost no one would raise their hand, even if it were true. KW Cares is our charitable organization that allows us to take care of one another and live into that part of our mission and values by taking care of associates, agents, and staff members, when they're in a time of need. So KW Cares has done grants for when they are in, a time of personal crisis, health issues. We've also done a lot to help, in areas when there's been natural disasters. It's an incredible organization. I'm really proud of, everything that we've been able to accomplish together. And I love that it's something, I mean, similar to Red Day, it's something that all of us can give just a little and it creates a lot. And so a few opportunities to support KW Cares. On the 15th, there is a leads, listings, leverage, equal exponential growth, multiply your business event. So they bring in absolute top-notch speakers for this. You'll usually have some royalty appearances. I would expect you'll probably see Gary Keller on this, all of the top trainers and agents from Keller Williams. It is a virtual event, so you can attend it from anywhere. 100% of the ticket sales, the cost of admission on this goes as a donation to KW Cares. So it's a great way to bump up your KW Cares donation while multiplying the business. And then I just wanted to acknowledge all of you. In our regional call, we were looking at transactional gifts. So agents that have an amount set to just come out of their transaction automatically when they have a closing and go to KW Cares. And you can see that 25% of our closings last month had a KW Cares donation attached to it, which was second place in the region, so not. Let's get that number even higher. If you've got questions about how to set this up, you can reach out to Amy or have your TC reach out to Amy. And I would love to see, again, it can be a $5 donation. It can be a $25 donation. This does not have to be a huge amount. For those of you who have been on the Morning Momentum calls, at the start of this week, we talked about being consistently good instead of occasionally great. And this is a way that you can do consistent good in the community and in the world. Speaking of consistently good, maybe even consistently great. Our featured ALC member of the month is Rachel Ray Elias. And Rachel, will you come on up? Rachel is an industry icon. She is absolutely an incredible force in this industry and has built an incredible business and is so unassuming about it. She's very low key. You're a low key icon. Rachel is a member of the Agent Leadership Council. You've been licensed for
Actually, 31 years.
Shut up, I thought you were 30.
Let's give her a round of applause. Both of you licensed 41 and half. She's been celebrated as the #1 agent from our market center, the #1 luxury agent. Rachel's done a lot of work with our luxury division and facilitating masterminds and bringing agents together that are like-minded to help everyone grow their business. And then how long have you been on the ALC?
Ask me that. I am actually not sure. It's gotta be 10 years, maybe,
Okay.
10, 11, 12, 13. I don't know.
Okay,
For a
so
long time.
for more than a decade,
Yeah.
you have given up your time because for anyone who doesn't know, the ALC, it's our Agent Leadership Council. This is the group of agents that serve as the advisory board for our market center. So they help make all of the decisions to protect you and your business and to make sure that we are continuing to live into our mission of being by agents for agents. They also run committees, take panicked calls from me in the middle of the night, talk me off the ledge anytime I am having a challenge. They're a group of incredible individuals that I definitely lean on. And so what made you decide to take this leadership position that is, by the way, unpaid and sometimes means being like the unsung hero?
For me, it was a great way to stay involved with the office and also to understand what goes into our office. And once you're in the leadership committee, you realize just how amazing our office truly is and the agents within it. So for me, it was a great way to stay connected. So throughout my career, I still do, have children. And so it was a way for me to stay connected, even though I was running, I was coaching soccer and doing the skateboarding and the skiing, teaching the science classes and helping out, but it kept me anchored into the office. And then, of course, they were grown and out on their own, but it's a way to stay connected and to truly be helpful. And I love real estate and I stay energized. And I truly, I get excited for every deal that goes under contract and for every buyer that closes or, get something accepted. And I love when agents have that same passion to really help people. So for me, it's just a way to stay connected.
So one of the things that I'm really impressed by with you and with your business is that you are very data-driven. You do a great job of really gathering information about what's happening in the market. And then you're very strategic with that. So it's not just numbers for the sake of numbers, but okay, what does this mean? And where are the opportunities for me as an agent? What do my clients need to be doing in response to this? Can you share a little bit about how do you stay data driven and how do you develop that strategy? And if there's an agent that's listening to that says, I'd like my business to be like that, where would they start?
Well, the first thing is to start looking at, I look at the multiple listing service. I have like 4 different ways that I search and I do it sometimes several times during the day, looking at all price points. I've been really fortunate that I worked with very small buyers, big buyers, and everything in between. So I'm always looking at all of the inventory. I just think that as realtors, we have such a responsibility to represent people in such a big purchase, in such a stressful place. And I'm a Southern girl where people have homes for generations. I love home. I absolutely love having a home. And I love it helping other people that weren't raised that way, meaning that maybe they didn't have parents that owned property, or it just gives you such a sense of security. I think it's such a responsibility and you're guiding somebody through such an important and stressful, and most people don't know what goes into buying a home, or that, like in my neighborhood, better get your sewer line cleaned every year, or you're gonna be replacing your carpet and the sheetrock in your basement. There's so many things that we can bring educational wise to clients. And if you're educated and you stay on top and you know your numbers and you're data driven, you are the professional and people will respect you and treat you like a professional. It's just so important. It's so important to know. So back to the question, how do you do it? Start looking at the inventory. What are things selling for? How long are they staying on the market? You can see all of those things from your MLS. And then you've heard Robin 100 times talk about how I like the numbers on days on market, under contract, the ratio to sell. Know these numbers, be an expert, know your craft. You wouldn't want to go to a doctor that didn't know anything about knee surgery if you were having knee surgery. It just, to me, it doesn't make sense not to know what you're selling and what you're trying to educate people on if you're not educated. So start with the MLS, know your data, know your numbers, read different avenues, listen to people on, there's so much information now that you can get on podcast. The Millionaire Real Estate Podcast has become one of my favorite. Everyone should be listening to that every week. Yeah, it just be informed. There's no reason not to be informed with the data that we have now.
So the committee that you chair this year is the Luxury Committee. You've been very engaged with the Luxury Committee, community, and really been a driving force in our area to move forward some things to better our presence with luxury. Anything that you'd like to share with the agents about that community or working in luxury, if this is something that is on their mind?
So yes to all of those things, but I want everyone to know, and Lori, you can attest to this, it's the same. It's just a couple more zeros. And sometimes they can be an easier transaction. It's the service that you give to anyone. Again, if you want to do luxury, you're going to need to dress the part a little bit. I'm big on what you present to people and how you present. And that might be a southern thing too, we're a little bit more stiff. But again, be a professional, know your business. If you want to work in that market, make sure you know what goes on in their neighborhoods. Do they have holiday events? Are there little secret hiking spots? And you should know this with every transaction that you do and every price point. But if you are going to go into the luxury market, make sure you know it. You know, if you have to call the neighborhood PTA to find out what the school systems are like, if you're not familiar with it or you don't have clients in it, you really need to be sharp, because the people in the luxury, they're driven. They have the finances to do and move and go where they want, and what their needs are. Meaning, is it education? Is it a lacrosse team that's really good for their son that wants to play in college? Whatever it is, or it doesn't matter. But listen to people, find out what they want. In the luxury, you have to be knowledgeable and make sure you know your stuff. Look at tax records. I dive deep, but if I'm looking at a listing, I go and I look at all the neighbors to see if I know anyone. I do. I'm Snoopy. I do, not just in size. But really dig in. Like, you want to know, maybe you know someone that you can call and be like, I got a lead from someone that I'm embarrassed to say that's not in my SOI. And she sent it by Messenger and Instagram. And then I happened to be talking to someone else, and I was trying to figure out what house in the country club would sell for this price point, because I'm like, there's nothing that would sell at this price point. And it just happened to be listening, and this guy's like, oh, that house, he wanted this much for it. I'm like, could this be so-and-so? And I said, can you put a good word in for me? So keep your ears open, but like I said, snoop around, find out who the neighbors are. Find out where the kids go to school, whatever you can. You really want to be sharp if you're working with a luxury. Be concise, don't waste their time, and come educated, because that will win the clients in the luxury.
So come educated, know your stuff, do a deep dive, and then look for connections. Rachel, thank you for who you are and all that you do. And so favorite part of KW culture or favorite bold law?
There's actually so many. I'll just quick before I start to the favorites. Keller Williams, I think, is an amazing company. There's so much to offer. It's so educationally driven is what I loved. So I love one of the bold laws. You teach people how to treat you. I didn't think that is such a good one. I get uncomfortable, or I call it insecure, or whatever it is in certain situations. But I remember if I have a standard and I hold to it, I'm teaching others how to treat you, and that's your clients, because you do. If you allow a phone call at 11 o'clock at night, you've just taught that person that they can interrupt. It would be my sleep at 11, but you teach others how to treat you. So I love that one. All right, and the market at a glance. So the reason we have the market at a glance is because of Rachel, because she liked this tool and she wasn't afraid to be the squeaky wheel and say, hey, bring it back. And so this report, as we've talked about previously, is on the Linktree. We now have the last 90 days of these reports on Linktree, and will at all times, because really the power in this report is not the snapshot in any given moment. The power in this is looking at the trends and being able to use that to define your strategy. Coming soon. Who has listings coming soon that they're excited to brag about? Jordan.
Sorry.
Yeah, I have a 5-bedroom, 3-car garage in Mill Creek for 700,000. It's 2,500 square feet on a third of an acre. So pretty cool. That'll be live later this week.
Sweet, love it. Anything else? That
I have a tri-level in the Ochre Shadows neighborhood in West Jordan coming, next week and will be priced at $499, 3-bedroom.
Going once. Going twice. All right. So congratulations to agents who took listings this week. We had 8 new listings taken last week. Flavio and Kim Orlandini, Ruben Gomez, Ethan Augustin, Sarah Burns, Sherry Rice, Dana Conway, and 2 for Cameron Burnside. All right, MCA moment. Cute shoes.
Just a real quick tip for you guys, I promised you once we switched over the back end to Command that there would be some cool reports that you could pull in real time. So I probably get asked a few times a day where I'm at on my cap, how close am I to capping? You can now access this information yourself. When you go into Command, just click on your picture, click on profile, and it's gonna bring up this page right here. It'll have your market center over to the side. If you click on it, it's gonna show you exactly where you're at above your company dollar cap and your royalty cap. And that is in real time, so it'll update as you have those things. So there you go.
Fantastic tool, thank you. Y'all, that was a really sad round of applause for something she's asking all the time. All right, and Kimber for our tech moment.
Bring my witches brew. Okay, so first of all, what Amy just went over, I have been with Keller Williams 10 years, and that is something I have heard agents asking for the last 10 years. So I agree with the second applause that needed on that one, because I've been hearing the requests, so it's been 10 years, so we got it. Okay, so this did not take 10 years. This took, it felt like overnight almost, and now this is live. So this is a little bit of information that I'm sharing with you as far as our new listing site. So I know that you'll retain everything I say and you won't need any other follow-up info. Just kidding, we're sending an email with everything that I say today and then some. So you have that as a backup. But we have created a site for all of our listings at KW Utah Realtors. And the most important thing to us, Robin can chime in on the most important thing to her as well. But the most important thing to us was that there wasn't an agent intervention that needed to happen for your listings to show on here. So where you'll intervene is if you want to advertise. Also, I guess I should say, if you have permission to advertise cooperative compensation and you have maybe a separate landing page link for your listing, then you can submit that to the office and we'll include that on the website and in our weekly email marketing. If you never submit that, then we will never include that and your listing will still be included and advertised as long as obviously it is put on the MLS. So kwutah.listings.com is live. So if you look on there right now, there's our listings that are active. Each week, on Thursdays are once a week where we go through and see, are there any, basically checking the inventory for the office. And so we will go and update the site and obviously send out that first look email for anything new that's come up in the last 7 days. We'll do that every Thursday. The only other thing that we've created is we've created a separate form because as agents, even though you have permission to, if you did have permission to advertise cooperative compensation, that may change at any given time and you may want to get that removed. And so you'll have a separate form that if you want us to either remove the listing and or just remove the compensation or possibly change the advertised compensation, then you'll have a separate form for that. So you only have 2 forms that you'll just have to bookmark. Ones you're just going to, I would say if you're a transaction coordinator, you're going to include that as part of your process. Once I go put something live on the MLS, I'm gonna go, if the contract includes this, I'm gonna also go submit a form to the office. And then each week we'll be cross-referencing it against this. What question? That was like the blah. Script.
So everyone understands the purpose and importance of us having a website with all the brokerages listings.
Yes.
Yes, okay. In case somebody doesn't know, but they're not gonna shake their head and say no, or raise their hand and say, Robin, I don't know what you're talking about. Within our settlement, brokerages are allowed to market, advertise, the cooperative compensation that is being offered only on the listings that that brokerage has. And so this is somewhere that the fact that you choose to associate with our brokerage, that you're a part of Keller Williams, really is a value for you and a value for your sellers. So lean into that. When you're in a listing consultation, talk to them about the fact that with these changes, we've become limited on where we can market this. One of the reasons I'm a part of Keller Williams is that we have a lot of reach. And so I'm going to be able to market this with the 200 other agents that are part of my brokerage. They are going to be sharing this site with their clients and with friends in the market. And so your property is going to get a maximum exposure through this. The second thing I want to say about this is thank you, Kimber, for making this simple. Anytime technology is rolled out to you that the team says, and this is really easy, I take a deep breath and I go through and do it myself because I am technology deficient. And the first time I get an error message, I'm gonna drop kick my computer out of the office and go back to doing everything pen and paper. And so I did, when they were putting this together, I went through and did a test. See, I even do pen and paper when I'm talking about doing a test run. So I did a test run of putting in information to see how fast this was. It was less than 90 seconds that I was able to get everything submitted. There were no error messages. It was actually easy. So I'm very excited. Thank you for putting this together. It looks fantastic. Lean into this in your listing conversations and then also share it, send it out. This is a website we can only advertise within the brokerage as far as like, we can only advertise the other brokerage listings, but that can be sent out to the general population. So this can go to other realtors. This can go to your consumers. This is not a for secret, only our use situation. So use this marketing tool because the more we all use it, the more impactful it is. So thank you for all of your work putting this together. Okay. And for not making us wait 10 years for it.
I know.
All right, and today's lunch sponsor is One Home Solution. We're going to bring them up after our open house training. But for now, I'm going to turn the time over to Lori Gee, who is the open house queen extraordinaire. Who's been to a Lori Gee open house? Yeah, they're a party. There's a reason that they're well attended. She does a great job. So Lori, thank you for being willing to share your secret sauce with everyone. As soon as Lori finishes, I'll turn the time over to Corey with One Home Solution. And then after that, grab lunch and come back to work on the consumer experience with Kimber. All right, Lori, I'm gonna send you which, like 20.
Okay. Did you get my text? Did you have the pictures anywhere of my events? I don't know. I sent them to you another time. Sorry if this seems really. That's what I'm doing. Anyway, I just got in from St. George late last night, so put this together. I've taught it before. Sorry, what time do I need to make?
Like 20 minutes.
Okay, awesome. Okay. How many of you like to hold open houses? I actually love holding open houses. The only thing I don't like to do is put out the signs that I literally hate putting out the signs. So when my kids were able to drive, I would have them deliver my signs, stay at the open house for me and go pick up my signs. And if I'm doing an open house in my, farm area that's close to my house, I make my husband do my signs. I hate signs. But I would have my kids do that. I'm honestly looking for teenage kids to help me with signs. And at one point, when my kids were little, not little, they were teenagers, I hired them a sign spinner. So I made the sign and I try to find sign spinners too when I'm having open houses. And I'd pay them like $20 an hour. They'd get their friends. And okay, this isn't legal, but I'd pay them a bonus if I sold the house. And I did sell one house off an open house. But I'm telling you, the people that would come, they'd be like, hey, we saw your sign spinners. We had to come in and we had to come see because we saw your sign spinner. So my point being, just make yourself stand out. Whether it's balloons, again, I hate putting balloons on signs. I just really hate signs, but anyway, make yourself stand out. So the first thing I do, let's talk about, since following off Rachel, let's talk about a luxury broker open, which I do a little bit different than just an open house that's not luxury, because you're trying to grab not a bigger, you're gonna get more people in when it's not luxury. So what I typically do with a luxury, broker open, I try to schedule it during the real tour. And any open house I do, like as a grand open house or the first open house, I try to do it with the real tour. Does everybody know what the real tour is?
Let's pretend.
Anybody
someone-
not know?
let's
Does
pretend
anybody
someone
not know
does.
what the real tour is?
Yeah.
Okay, again, here I am. I'm selling the real tour. It is the tour with the Salt Lake board. And so they do east side, west side, and they rotate, and then the agents sign up and have their houses open from, I think it's 9 to noon. You have to attend a pre-realtor meeting, but you could do it by Zoom. It's either at the board or by Zoom. And somebody has to be at your open house, so you can't tour open houses. But it's a great way to do a broker open house. There are people that are consistent that are on the board, the Salt Lake board or affinities that will come and give you feedback on your tour. So I do the real tour, and then I try to do a broker open house at the same time. So I invite other brokers to come, not just for the realtor broker open house. And I do a public open house as well. At the same time, I may make the times a little bit different. But then I come up with a theme. And sorry, I don't have my pictures here, but I did one in the country club area, and we had, I think Rachel came to this one, maybe, yeah, and it was around St. Patrick's Day, so we did a St. Patrick's Day theme, and I always do giveaways. A lot of times I just do, like, for people to sign in, I just do these $5 Starbucks cards. Like, I give these away at a lot of open houses, just because I'll put them right there by the sign-in sheets, and I'll get to that in a minute. And I'll say, hey, do you mind signing in? And do you want to take a Starbucks card? You can get Starbucks cards with your logos on them. It's just a little bit more expensive. I think I'm gonna have my team just make like a little sticker, and then I'll buy these. These are at Target. You can also order them on Amazon, and they will get to you the same day. But I'm just gonna make a little sticker on mine too, of our logo on there. Let's see, and then I usually do giveaways when it's a big broker open house with a theme. I'll do giveaways, and then I have vendors help us with those giveaways. So sometimes it's gas cards, sometimes it's a Home Depot card. I usually have about 4, and it's usually like a Nordstrom card, a Home Depot card, maybe a gift basket, and something else. So I have my vendors help me with that. I do an email blast to all the luxury agents. So I have a list of agents. I have lists of agents for different areas. So for horse property, for Harriman, for different areas, I've kind of broken my agents, even like up north, I've broken my agents down so that when I do, when a listing comes on the market and we're doing a broker open house, I invite those agents to it. And then I have a list of a bunch of agents that I've worked with before, and I'll talk about that in a second, that I send as soon as I have a new listing. And sometimes we do new listing broker open house at the same time. I post on social media. Of course, now I'm gonna have to do a social media class because I am not a social media guru. I just don't have a ton of followers, but I do boost anytime I have a new listing. If I'm gonna do an open house, I'll buy the advertising for that. The trick for that on social media now, do not do it through the platform on your iPhone because it's Apple that charges you like $25 to do your advertising. So go in through your computer or for Facebook, so the Apple doesn't charge you that extra $25. Because other than that, it's pretty inexpensive. It's like $5 a day to boost any of your posts, and that'll give you far more outreach than if you just post it on your page. I have the front desk, also email it to all of the KW Utah agents. And then I start personally texting agents right before. I'll get a screenshot of it. We do most of our marketing through Canva, so I'll just download that piece through Canva, and then I start texting agents. I would love to see you there. And it's great, even if they don't make it, it's a way to keep in contact with agents that you've worked with before. And then I always serve food. I'm just big on a party. I'll just tell you. So I come up with a theme, and then I have food that kind of fits that theme. I have a friend, she actually works with the Cribs, but she does amazing charcuterie boards. And so I give her a theme and she comes up with charcuterie boards. So that's typically what I do. And then some desserts, throw in drinks. I do find if you, I don't drink alcohol, but if you throw alcohol in the mix, be careful, but it tends to draw more people, more agents, tends to draw more agents. So that's what I found and I've only observed that from watching other people do open houses. I feel like, wow, yeah, so many people, broker open, why is that? Only serving alcohol. So, and I don't even know the first thing about buying alcohol, so I usually have to send somebody to go buy it, to be honest with you. I mean, once I did, we were up in Marmalade District and I did mimosas, and so my girl that does my charcuteries went and bought all the stuff for that, so sometimes I'll do, I had one, we're trying to have her pictures, but I had a house up off Dimpledale. It was like 8,000 square foot house and had the most beautiful theater. It was like old school theater, like old Hollywood, not old school, old Hollywood theater. So we picked a theme of The Greatest Showman. And so I was in full dress, Greatest Showman. My assistant Mariah was in Greatest Showman. And then we served churros because we felt like that went along with kind of the circus theme. And then we had just kind of that theme with us. I'm trying to remember what we did as far as food, but anyway, so sometimes I do food trucks as well. You just got to negotiate that price really well. Or again, have your vendors help you with the cost on that. So if a non-luxury broker open, I kind of do the same thing. I'm probably not going to get a food truck. Oh, by the way, I do go invite the neighbors to these as well, just because I know they're going to be coming in through the house anyway. So I do invite the neighbors to come through as well. On non-luxury, I find the agents in that geographical area, make sure I invite them. And then I just do on a smaller scale, as far as refreshments go, we have branded water, so I always have my branded water. And then a trick for all open houses that I have done is order crumble cookies and send them to the house where I'm having the open house. So then I get to the house, the crumble cookies are there. All I have to do, and now they have mini crumble cookies. So before, and they have big ones, nobody's gonna eat that great big crumble cookie, so I divide them. But now they have mini crumble cookies. So I just order them. I have them sent to the house. When I get there, they're on the doorstep where the owner has brought them in. And then I just put them on a serving tray. So something I do, that's just with open houses. That's something I do. And of course, I invite the neighbors. Sometimes I door knock. I'm not great at door knocking because I can't shut my mouth. I'm like, ooh, I get 3 doors down in an hour and a half. So I don't always door knock, but sometimes I will hire kids to go put door hangers on or flyers on their doors or something, grand open house, or we're having open house this weekend. You're gonna get neighbors, and some people, are frustrated that they get neighbors, and I always ask somebody, I always ask people when they walk in the door, are you a neighbor? Do you live in the neighborhood? For a couple reasons, I think like Rachel said, to get to know the neighborhood, they can tell you things that you don't know about the neighborhood. But also you just want to kind of build a relationship with them. So I do invite the neighbors to my open houses, that first open house. And then I'll do a social media post a couple of days before, so that when you do a social media post, if you're gonna boost that ad because of fair housing, Meta is gonna choose that demographic for you. You have to check housing. If you don't check housing, they're not gonna approve your ad. So if you check housing, then they're gonna choose that demographic, and it's usually just however big you want that radius or whatever you want. You can choose how much you want us to spend a day or a week. So I'll do it a couple days before the open house, and at the day of the open house. If it's a new listing, I do it a little bit longer, but for open houses, I just do sponsored advertising, especially that first week. Start it a couple of days before, and then you can end it on Sunday or whenever. And honestly, you can spend as little as $30. It's inexpensive. It's getting your name out there. It's the best form of advertising. Let's see. How much time do I have left?
You are crushing it, don't
Okay.
worry.
Okay, so let's talk about sign-in sheets. Everybody, these are the sign-in sheets that we've created for our team. Always have a sign-in sheet. And I think on command, they have sign-in sheets as well that you can use. These are just the ones that we use. I always set mine by the flyers with a pen, by the treats over there. And I let people, and I'll just say, walk through, and then I'll have you come sign in. So I kind of preface that. I rarely have people that don't want to sign in. And I'll just say, leave your name, number. If you have a real estate agent, put your realtor's name down, and I'll follow up with them so that I can get feedback. So I rarely have somebody not want to sign in. Every once in a while you get somebody that doesn't want to, but for the most part, people will sign in. But I will tell you, I'm really chatty. And I always say, I always play 6 degrees to Lori Gee. So no matter who comes in the house, I can almost always find my way to them. They'll walk in the house and I'll just say, oh, welcome. How did you hear about the open house? Was it social media? Was it, just online? Was it the signs? And then they'll tell me, and then sometimes they'll say, well, I'm just a neighbor. I'll say, you live in the neighborhood? Yes, I do. So last spring I was doing an open house out in South Jordan. And this couple came through, and I goes, and they were chatting back. So we were chatting back. And then my client happened to be relocating. He's like, oh, I relocated, several times. And I said, oh, who did you relocate with? 'Cause I'm like, I'm gonna find a connection somehow. And he said, American Express. Well, my daughter-in-law's mom used to work for American Express. And so I said, oh, do you know so-and-so with American Express? Oh, yeah, actually, they were our neighbors. I know them. And I'm like, oh, Kendall's my daughter-in-law, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, so we made a great connection. They haven't moved. I'm still talking to them now because I put them on this sheet, or they signed in, gave me their information. They were worried about giving me their information. They gave me their phone number, their email. And then I always make little notes about what's on here. If they have a realtor, then I just follow up with the realtor. So there was a cute couple that I've known forever, and Rachel will know them because they were at the first company we were with, Jill and Spence Clark, and they taught me this on open houses, that they would go every Monday, they would handwrite people. They'd get people to sign in. I mean, this was like 25 years ago. They'd get people to sign in on their open houses, and then every Monday, they would call or do a handwritten note to those people that signed in. So that's what I do every Monday morning, is I go through my open house sheets, and then I call or text the people that came through. If they had an agent, I try to call the agent. If they don't answer, then I text them and say, hey, your client so-and-so came through my open house on Saturday. Here's, the information. And it's really funny that the reaction you get from said they did. I didn't know they were looking, or, oh, she's been looking for 2 years, but I'll follow up with them. But then so everybody that's on the sheet, I give to my assistant and we put in command. Unless they specifically ask that they don't want any information from us. But we put them on our newsletter, we get their newsletter information, we put the agent on our agent list. So that when we get new listings, they are now on our email blast. So we keep track of the agent's name and also the people that come through. And then we put them on our newsletter. Right now, we just put them on the newsletter and then I follow up with them, I don't know, every month, maybe every 2 months to see where they're at. And also that depends on kind of like what their feeling was, like how I felt that we connected. If they were really standoffish, then I might not contact them so much, but then I'll go through and see if they're opening up the newsletters as well. So we email newsletters out once a month, the beginning of every month. So any questions, I'm getting people to sign in. Just ask. That's all you have to do is ask. I rarely have anybody tell me they don't want to sign in, rarely. And if they don't want to, then they're not my people anyway. No, I'm just. I mean, I get it. I don't know that I'd want to put my information. I honestly am sometimes shocked that people will be like, oh, yeah, sure. Blah, blah, yeah, here. But I don't know. I think I just have a way of talking to people and again, finding my way to people that they don't feel like so attacked when they come through.
I also think, Lori, in listening to what you do, you're creating a party. You are giving a lot up front. They're getting an experience. They are getting food. They are getting. So then when you're asking them to sign in, there is a natural tendency to want to reciprocate. It's that power of reciprocity. Whereas if you've got somebody walking in the door and you haven't given them anything and then you're saying, sign in, I think that's maybe when people get more pushback.
Great, thank you.
Plus, who would tell Lori no? I'm not telling her all that.
I box as well. So don't tell me. Also to go back to Rachel's point when she was speaking, know that neighborhood, when you take a listing, and especially when you do your open house, you have got to know that neighborhood. I mean, and it's okay if neighbors come through and tell you more about the neighborhood, make sure you take a note about that. And sometimes I'll say, oh yeah, this neighbor came through and told me, I didn't know that about the neighborhood, but you better contact that HOA contact and get to know everything you know about that neighborhood, especially before your open house, because people are gonna have those questions as they come through the open house.
I was gonna see, I love what you do, because that's one of my sticking points is getting the sign in. But you are correct, because there's a psychological behind, this isn't the point I was gonna make, but the psychology behind when you give people, we're bred to give back. So, but on getting to know the neighborhood, one of the things that I do with every listing that I take is I ask the seller before we list, can you please give me a list of the things that make your home special, your neighborhood special? What do you like about your neighborhood and the area that you live in? Like, cause where I live, there's a secret little walking path by a creek that you would know. I mean, you would drive up and down the roads in the neighborhood, you would never know it's there. And it is such a sanctuary. But unless you know, you would know. And it's so easy because anybody that lives in the neighborhood is gonna tell you that's there. So ask the sellers to give you a list of what they love. So then you become the expert on their home.
And that's like old school AI right there. That can help you write your description on your house,
Yes,
right?
exactly.
Yeah, exactly. I do the same thing. I would say, what do you love about the house? What improvements have you done? I always say, like, give me a list of improvements, tell me about the neighborhood. And honestly, that helps with the description.
Yes,
You're putting
all
it
of it.
across the MLS, and then again, when you're showing the house and when you're doing the open house, it gives you that information. I talked about adding them into command. I always ask people how they heard about the open house, because I want to make sure I know, what's working. Any questions? Am I good on time?
I think we're right out there.
Okay, any questions?
Who heard something today that they haven't tried before in an open house or aren't currently using? Love it.
Did you
Keep
have
your hand up
questions?
if you're actually going to implement it and do something with it.
We have what questions?
One
Are you ever worried about people spilling food or drinks?
Oh, I don't let them eat the food when they're going through the house.
Oh, gotcha.
That's why I say go through the house and then come back.
Afterwards, they
Yeah,
get-
come back, especially if they have kids, especially with cookies. I'll just be like, oh, and take those on your way out, because yes, and I always only serve water, unless it's like a broker open house, and the same thing, and when I'm doing a broker open house, like if there's an island or something like that, we just spread the food in one place, and I would say, go look at the house, come back here and have treats, so I don't let them take it through the house necessarily. And then that's a good place to sit and talk with other agents as well and get their feedback on the house. So sometimes I just do like wrapped candy as well. I always ask for the parents' permission to give that candy out, but yeah, I'm just like, and on your way out, grab some treats. Like, honestly, I say that, and on your way out.
But do you like,
sign in.
did anybody watch where her hands and her feet both went? Take your treat on the way out.
I know, actually correcting. Hey, I have grandkids, I know how fast they can mess up. a house, so.
Well, Lori, thank you so much. And then Corey, if you want to come on up and talk to us about One Home Solution.
Good morning, it's almost afternoon, I know. Everybody awake? Raise your hand.
Yeah.
Really? Okay, just checking on who I need to talk to, because somebody, I know somebody's sleeping. See if I can connect this. Not be too goofy. There. There we go. You got the clicker. Uh-oh. You won't have to do it by hand.
That's, so if you can do that, or you can.
Hit the
Hit the
space
space
bar.
bar.
Yeah, we're good. So, again, my name is Corey Barfus. I'm with One Home Solution. Let me ask you guys, in real estate, how many of you ever had to deal with the question, who do you know that can fix, repair, maintain something? All the time, right? So, what's the frustration of doing that? Let me ask you, when you're doing home maintenance and repair, how are you sourcing that? Some of us have contacts in the industry and we reach out to them, but let me ask you, how many of you have ever had to call? Do they ever answer? Okay, and when they do call, or when they do, how many of them ever show up on time when they tell you they're gonna be there? Or you get that window of time? I'll have somebody out there Thursday between 10 and 5. You guys are all rich, you're just real estate agents, you can hang out at home from 10 to 5, right? No, that's frustrating. You just hired somebody to come to the house. How would it be if you could say on your time, not their time? Why are we having to reschedule our stuff to fit their schedule? Okay, so going that route, really process is frustrating. And a lot of times confusing because you don't know when's showing up, especially if you got multiple stuff going on. So let's talk about One Home Solution. One Home Solution, we're disruptive in the technology for home maintenance, service, repair, and handyman type services. Let's look at those names. When they first came out, did we know anything about them? But look how far they've gone. They've really kind of disrupted in their individual industry. How do we do that? Well, we're here to make home maintenance easy and affordable. We do that with technology. We are a subscription app-based program. And the reason that we do that is because we started out as a home management, property management company, but we kind of came up with the project model of what do most people need to take care of their home? So we paired it with technology, taking the customer centric of the data of normal wear and tear of maintaining a home, put it into a program to give them an affordable professional repair. They're basically a one source solution to doing stuff. How do we do that? We're saving you money. We have no trip charge. There's no minimum. How many have ever hired just a handyman? Okay, what's their minimum charge? Do they have a minimum? How many have heard, oh, that's too small, I can't just repair that drywall, or I can't just redo that GFI outlet, I gotta have at least 2-hour minimum to make it worth my while to show up. Okay, that's what I talk about a minimum. We have 0 of that. I'm prorated at $70 an hour. My property care specialists are in-house. They're prorated, they're on a salary, they have no agenda to try to make a job go longer. So if they're only there for a half an hour, it's $35 plus whatever material that they use it. Does that make sense? Okay, so we're saving you some money that way because we don't have a service charge. Literally, you book them and they show up and they're there for a half an hour, it's $35. If they're there for an hour, it's $70 plus whatever materials. That makes sense. Task list management. We basically take your list, all those little things that you don't want to pay the 2-hour minimum to show up. We now become the project manager, your concierge, take care of all those little things around the house You just don't know who to call, you don't have time to do it yourself. We become that one source. Same time, well, now you're not calling 3, 4, 5 people, waiting for them to call back, trying to schedule it to your schedule, coordinating all of that stuff. You guys are busy. You have 100% guarantee on the stuff that we do. So this is how it does, open tap, submit and fix. You literally go into this app and it doesn't work on this one, but you literally go in, pick what you need from the drop-down file, go through, pull up the calendar, find a day that works for you, then highlight times that we have available, click that time, hit submit, they're now scheduled to show up at that day and time. Okay? Cool, right? Novel idea. They actually show up when you want them, not when you're waiting around waiting for them. We also like to stay communicated with you. So you're gonna get a text or an email a day or two before your appointment, letting you, reminding you that we're coming out. Then about 30 minutes before, you're gonna get a text from my tech, if I can say that. Say, I'm on my way, gonna be my picture, gonna have a picture of them, their name, so when you open the door, you automatically know who's there. Which makes it nice for older people, single family or single parent, if I should say. At home, you already know who's showing up at the door. They're gonna be in a company wrap truck. They're gonna have a logoed shirt, so it's not like some of the old satellite companies that show up in a nondescript van, if you will, okay? So we really are conscious of who we send into your home. So who could use all that? Well, let me ask you, these are a lot of the things we get requested for. Everything from a one-time service to hanging a television, to hanging ceiling fan, to changing out a Ring camera out on the front door, to rechanging out all the lights on a thing. All those things we can handle. Cleaning out the leaf gutter because your neighbor's tree is, you know how those work. Not a lot of fun, right? So just about anything inside and outside the home of a handyman type services, we can handle. And if it goes beyond the handyman type of thing, we can coordinate that as well for you. Here's what I love. Seasonal maintenance plan. With the cost of the membership, you get all of this included, all the material and the labor. This is stuff that most people should do at the home, but are not always great at remembering to do. So what we do, 4 times a year, we're gonna come and change your HVAC filter. Okay, we supply the filter. For me, mine's about $50 a pop, so there's $200 in filters a year if I buy it myself. We're gonna clean your condensation line, refill your water softener salt. Who likes that 40-pound bag of salt? Unless some of us like the exercise, but not everybody loves taking it up and down the stairs. We fill it, not just 1 or 2 bags, 3 to 5 bags to fill it. Okay, all the other things that we do that most people don't do, change the smoke detector batteries once a year. I can't tell you how many people I've been into and I've seen half their smoke detectors sitting in the box in the garage because it went off at 2 o'clock in the morning and they just didn't want to deal with it. Lubricate the garage door, how many do that? Flush a water heater, how many people do that? Washing machine, the filters, who's ever cleaned a filter on a washing machine? Some have them, some don't, but the front load ones, all pretty much have those. That's a messy, smelly mess. Clean the sink aerators, they get all calcium, whether you have a water softener or not, they get a little corroded on all your faucets. Clean the floor drain from the hair. Now, I've lost most of mine, but some of you haven't. So the floor drain, cleaning that out, okay? That's all included in the app, or included in the membership. The cost, if I buy that myself for my own home, it costs me less to buy this membership than to buy the material just for the filter, salt, and the batteries. It's almost a no-brainer. And if you were to hire someone to come and do this, all of that, you're over $1,000, easy, if you hired it out. So who can use this? Let's talk about first-time home buyers that have no clue what it takes to maintain a home. Let's talk about our parents, older folks, should have no business being on a ladder or step stool, right? Busy professionals, like you guys. Here's the thing, that even though you may be able to do it, kind of nice to just have the option or the resource to farm it out. So, agent benefit. Perfect closing gift. Here's a gift they'll use all year long, at least 4 times a year. And remember and thank you for it. Help reduce those calls of who you know that can fix, repair, and maintain something, right? Every day matters. Your SOI, your people, your past clients, soft touch to go back out. They've asked you, who do you know that can fix or repair? Now you got something to refer to them. They keep you in mind. Listing, how many have ever taken a listing that they didn't have to do anything to put it up for sale? They all got something that they want to touch up on, right? Refreshing, touch up a little bit of paint, fix something, change out certain light bulbs or light fixtures. So listing, great listing edge to be able to put on. And then either gift it to the buyer or they can transfer it if they are in our service area and take it to their new home. No charge to transfer over to another address. So you can refer your clients. Real simple, we can actually take it out of closing, send an invoice to your title people and take care of that, or send you the invoice to pay out of pocket. If you ask us how much it is, this is if you go online and look us up, we're normally $49 a month or $500 a year. We've always given $100 off for realtors by putting their own name in the referral code. But I've been running a special, especially with KW. I've got a lot of history with KW. All right, Amy?
Yeah.
If I can get you, or you're even interested today, if you'll join, I'll give you half off. It's $250 per door. You don't have to pay today. So we do an onboarding, which takes about 30 minutes. We come out to the house, we see what side your HVAC filter is, water softener, all of those things that we do, and we make a little profile of your home. So when we get called to your home to do stuff, we already know if you got vaulted ceilings for the light or smoke detector. What kind of appliances that you already have. So we already do that. That's when they take the payment. So if you're even thinking about it, here's the download. If you want a brochure, I'm going to be here after lunch or during lunch. Download it, join, create an account. Use the code KWUT, KW Utah /250. I will give you it the first year for $250. Those 4 quarterly service maintenance cost more than $250. It's a no-brainer. Literally, for you or your clients, family, friends, or neighbors. There's my information. Is there any questions? If so, I don't know if you have anything more. If we just go to lunch, go with that. If you want to come up and talk to me, I have brochures. If you'd like a brochure, I'll give you some more information on that. Thank you for your time. I love you guys here at KW, so appreciate it.
All right, grab lunch and then come back into this room in about 20 minutes for our lunch and learn website class with Kimber.
Yeah.
Should talk to you about the glow and whatever,
Yeah.
because when I do that. Thank you, Lori. Very good. Thank you. Ben Signer.
Oh, thank you.
And